What if I told you that just 30 days of Stoicism could change your life, even in your 60s? Sounds impossible, right? Well, that's exactly what I set out to find. I decided to follow Stoic principles every day for an entire month, and I'm here to tell you what happened. And trust me, it wasn't what I expected. Before we dive in, let me ask, what's the last new thing you tried? If you've been wanting to reset your mindset, build resilience, or just feel more in control, hit that like button right now because you're going to love this. We explore how ancient wisdom can help us navigate modern challenges. Subscribe and join the journey toward a stronger, wiser version of yourself. All right, let's dive in. I'll walk you through what I did, the biggest challenges I faced, the lessons I learned, and, most importantly, how Stoicism could change your life too. Day 1. Cold showers, mental resistance, and eye-opening lessons. All right, let's talk about day 1. And wow, what a wake-up call it was. I knew the first step in this Stoic challenge had to be something that would jolt me out of my comfort zone. So I went straight for cold showers. Now, I don't know about you, but I love my hot showers. They're the one place I can zone out, relax, and feel at ease. So, turning that water dial to cold first thing in the morning, absolutely brutal. The moment that icy water hit my skin, every instinct told me to get out, immediately. It was like my brain was screaming, "This is torture, why are you doing this?" But here's the thing. I stood there, shivering, forcing myself to stay under the water for 30 seconds. And after those agonizing seconds passed, something strange happened. It didn't feel quite as bad. My brain started to quiet down, and I realized it wasn't the water that was the problem. It was my mind trying to convince me I couldn't handle it. This is where the Stoic principle of preparing for discomfort came into play. The Stoics believed that voluntarily embracing challenges helps us build resilience. The more we expose ourselves to discomfort, the less power it has over us. Cold showers were just a metaphor for life. Life's challenges are like that icy water. You dread them, but once you face them head on, you realize you're stronger than you thought. To be honest, I didn't expect to learn this much from a cold shower. But by the end of the first week, I was already feeling a change in how I dealt with discomfort. I stopped jumping out of the shower the moment things got hard, and the same thing started happening in other areas of my life. For example, I noticed that when a conversation became difficult or awkward, I didn't try to avoid it. Instead, I leaned in, the same way I leaned into the cold. And the result? It became easier to handle uncomfortable moments. Here's my first big takeaway from day 1. We suffer more from the fear of discomfort than from the discomfort itself. Think about it. How many times do we avoid things just because we think they'll be hard? But when you actually face them, they're never as bad as you imagined. Your mind is like a bully, and the only way to beat it is to stand your ground. Pro tip: try it yourself. I challenge you. Yes, you watching this right now. Take a cold shower tomorrow morning. Even if it's just for 15 seconds. Don't think about it, just do it. And when you're done, comment below with how it felt. I want to hear your stories. Were you able to stick with it, or did you bail halfway through? Either way, you'll learn something about yourself. Week 1. Training the mind with voluntary discomfort. Now let me tell you, the cold showers were just the beginning of week 1. I wanted to push myself further, so I added a few more Stoic practices designed to train the mind through voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that intentionally making life a little harder helps us prepare for when things don't go our way. This week, I decided to eat simple, bland meals instead of indulging in my usual favorites. Limit my daily comforts, like coffee and screen time. Wear the same clothes for a few days in a row, even if they weren't the most comfortable. And let me tell you, this was not easy. I love my morning coffee, and going without it felt like starting the day at half energy, but that's exactly the point. The Stoics didn't see discomfort as something to avoid. They saw it as training for the inevitable hardships of life. At first, I felt miserable. I missed my little luxuries, and every day felt like a grind. But by the end of the week, something shifted. I realized that I don't need half the things I thought I needed to feel good. Cutting out coffee didn't kill me. Eating plain oatmeal for breakfast instead of pancakes? Not a big deal. What really stood out to me was how much mental space I reclaimed. Without constantly seeking little pleasures throughout the day, I found myself more focused and present. It's like my mind stopped chasing distractions. I wasn't constantly thinking about what snack to eat next or what show to watch. Here's the Stoic lesson I took away. The less you rely on external comforts, the freer you become. When your happiness isn't tied to things outside your control, like food, entertainment, or even other people, you feel lighter. You stop feeling like a prisoner to your cravings. Real talk. What I learned from voluntary discomfort. Let's be honest. Modern life makes it so easy to get comfortable. We have food, entertainment, and convenience at our fingertips 24/7. But comfort isn't always a good thing. In fact, the Stoics would argue that too much comfort makes us weak. If we're not careful, we'll end up relying on it. And then, when life throws a curveball, we won't know how to cope. The Stoics understood that life is unpredictable. Someday, we'll all face situations where our comforts are taken away. Maybe it'll be a financial setback, a health issue, or the loss of someone we care about. When that day comes, will you be ready? Or will you fall apart because you never learned how to be uncomfortable? That's why this practice of voluntary discomfort is so powerful. It's like putting on armor. The more you train yourself to live without certain comforts, the stronger you become. And when things do go wrong, because they eventually will, you'll be ready. During week 1, I also noticed something unexpected. I started to feel more grateful for the little things I used to take for granted. After a few days without coffee, that first cup I had on day 7 tasted like magic. And after wearing the same clothes for days, putting on a fresh outfit felt like a luxury. By removing comfort, I relearned how to appreciate it. Your challenge: embrace some discomfort. So, here's a challenge for you. Pick one small comfort you rely on and give it up for a day or even a week. It could be your morning coffee, social media, or snacks between meals. Whatever it is, notice how you feel without it. Does it make you miserable, or do you discover you can live just fine without it? Drop a comment below with what you're giving up, and let me know how it goes. I'll be reading through the comments and sharing my thoughts on your experiences. Remember, the goal isn't to punish yourself, it's to train your mind. The more you learn to handle discomfort, the less power it has over you. And here's the best part. Once you stop needing things to feel happy, you start appreciating life more. Even the simplest things become gifts. Imagine waking up every day feeling grateful just to be alive. That's the kind of peace the Stoics were aiming for. And trust me, it's worth the effort. Week 2, the tug of war with self-control and how I almost gave up. All right, folks, let me tell you, week 2 was tough. If I thought cold showers and bland meals were bad, learning self-control was a whole new level of challenging. I decided to test myself by cutting out all my impulse habits, things like snacking, scrolling social media, and impulse shopping. And, let's just say, it didn't go as smoothly as I hoped. On day 1 of week 2, I was feeling ambitious. I told myself, no sweets, no online purchases, no TV shows, and absolutely no distractions during work. Easy, right? Well, by lunchtime, I was already struggling. I opened the pantry, stared longingly at a bag of chips, and thought, What's the harm in just one handful? That's the sneaky thing about cravings. They make every excuse sound reasonable. And guess what? I caved. I ate the chips. Later that day, I also caught myself mindlessly scrolling through my phone. By the end of day one, I felt like a failure. I thought, why can't I just stick to a plan? What's wrong with me? But here's where the Stoic philosophy came to my rescue. The Stoic view on self-control, progress, not perfection. The Stoics taught that self-control is a skill, not an achievement. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to get better, little by little. That realization hit me hard. Self-control isn't about never slipping up. It's about learning from every slip. Each time I gave in to temptation, I reflected on it without judgment. I asked myself, why did I give in? What was I really craving? How can I do better next time? On day 3, for example, I wanted to binge watch a new series. Instead of just saying no, I paused and thought, what's this urge really about? I realized that I was looking for an escape from stress. Once I understood that, I found a healthier way to deal with it. I went for a walk, did some journaling, and felt better without needing the TV. The power of pausing before acting. By the middle of the week, I discovered the magic of the 10-second pause. Every time I felt the urge to do something impulsive, like buy something online or grab a snack, I paused for 10 seconds and asked myself, do I really need this? Or am I just chasing a quick fix? And 9 times out of 10, the answer was, nope. This small practice had a huge impact. It showed me how many of our desires are just fleeting impulses, and if we wait long enough, they pass on their own. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from mastering your desires, not by avoiding them, but by learning to pause and choose wisely. Your challenge: master the 10-second pause. So here's a challenge for you. The next time you feel an urge to buy something, eat something, or distract yourself, stop and count to 10. Ask yourself, do I really need this? If the answer is yes, go for it. But if not, let the urge pass and celebrate that small victory. Comment below with what habit you're trying to resist and let me know how the 10-second pause works for you. I'll be cheering you on from the comments section. Week 3. Embracing amor fati, loving life even when it's unfair. Now, week 3 was all about practicing amor fati, one of the most powerful Stoic principles. Amor fati means love your fate, not just accept it, but love it. This means embracing everything that happens to you, even the bad stuff, as if it were meant to be. Sounds easy, right? Trust me, it's not. The first time something didn't go my way that week, my natural instinct was to get frustrated. But then I remembered the Stoics believed that everything that happens is part of a bigger plan, even the setbacks. And our job isn't to fight it, but to find the good in it. When the internet went out, and everything changed. Let me tell you a little story. On day 4 of week 3, I had an entire afternoon planned to get some work done. I was feeling motivated and ready to tackle my to-do list. And then, bam, my internet went out. Just like that, all my plans were ruined. Normally, this would have sent me into a spiral of frustration. I would have thought, why does this always happen to me? But instead, I stopped and asked myself, what if this is exactly what I need right now? So, instead of stewing in frustration, I went for a walk, did some journaling, and spent the rest of the afternoon reading. And you know what? It turned out to be one of the most peaceful afternoons I've had in a long time. That experience taught me that things don't have to go according to plan to be good. Sometimes, the unexpected moments are the ones we need most. Finding freedom by accepting what is the Stoics believed that we suffer not because of what happens to us, but because of how we react to it. They taught that the key to peace is learning to say, "This is happening for me, not to me." When you stop resisting reality, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. By the end of the week, I started applying amor fati to everything, big and small. Got stuck in traffic? Perfect. More time to listen to a good podcast. Plans fell through? Great. Now I can focus on something else. This practice made me realize how much time I've wasted fighting things I can't control. Every time I resisted reality, I created my own suffering. But when I leaned into it, when I accepted things as they were, I found peace. Your challenge: practice amor fati. Here's your challenge for the week. Think of one situation in your life that isn't going the way you want. Maybe it's a delayed project, a difficult relationship, or even a health setback. Now, instead of fighting it, try loving it. Ask yourself, how can I make the most of this? Drop a comment below with how you plan to practice amor fati this week. I want to hear your stories. What unexpected good can you find in the challenges life throws your way? What I learned from week 3. By the end of week 3, I felt lighter, mentally and emotionally. I realized that most of life's frustrations come from trying to control things we were never meant to control. And when you let go of that need for control, you create space for peace. Amor fati isn't just about putting on a happy face. It's about truly embracing every part of your journey, even the messy parts. Because at the end of the day, everything that happens to us, good or bad, is part of what shapes us into who we are. The final week, letting go of control. In the last week of the challenge, I focused on letting go of the things I couldn't control. This might sound simple, but it was one of the hardest lessons to learn. The Stoics believed that the key to peace is knowing what's in your control and what isn't. For example, you can't control other people's actions, but you can control your response. You can't control the weather, but you can control your attitude toward it. One day, I found myself getting frustrated with someone who wasn't following through on their promises. But then I stopped and thought, is this something I can control? So I let it go. And the weirdest thing happened. The frustration disappeared. This practice helped me realize how much energy I waste trying to control things I can't. Letting go felt like a weight lifting off my shoulders. Try this. The next time you catch yourself worrying about something you can't control, say this out loud. Not my circus, not my monkeys. It sounds silly, but it works. Give it a shot and let me know if it helps. What I learned after 30 days of Stoicism. So, after 30 days of practicing Stoicism, here's what I learned. 1. Discomfort is temporary. The more you face it, the less power it has. 2. Gratitude grows when you prepare for the worst. 3. Self-control isn't about being perfect, it's about trying. 4. Peace comes from accepting life as it is, not as you want it to be. 5. Letting go of what you can't control is the ultimate freedom. Honestly, this challenge changed me. I feel calmer, more present, and more in control of my emotions. And the best part? It's just the beginning. Stoicism isn't something you master in 30 days. It's a lifelong journey. If you're thinking about trying Stoicism, I say go for it. Start small. Take one principle and try it for a week. And if you do, I want to hear about it. Drop your experience in the comments. And don't forget, subscribe to Stoic Life Recipe for more challenges, life lessons, and practical wisdom. Let's grow together, one day at a time.